Hi, I'm Keith Ghostland.
Hi, I'm Linda Quinlan. Welcome to All Things LGBTQ. It is Tuesday the 22nd, and we are taping at Orca Media, which we acknowledge is unceded Indigenous land. Keith.
And we would like to offer at this point Anne's usual statement about our continuing outrage that the condition in Gaza is continuing. The genocide, the absolute abuse, and our outrage at the U.S.'s complicity in allowing this to continue. So, with that said,
Yes. What news do you have for us?
well, first we're going to start with the trivia. And there's a giveaway for the trivia. And
Over
remember,
my head went right over. Right over.
and remember, July is Disability Pride Month. So I am looking for members of the LGBTQ plus community who were noted for having lived at least some part of their life with a disability. And this renowned artist, inventor, architect, and theorist might be best known for their work La Gioconda. Who might that have been? And bonus points if you know what was the identified disability. I didn't mention that before.
No, you didn't.
There we go.
I don't know either.
I didn't really know until I was doing the research, and some of it just mentions the person and sort of this is how they contributed, and may or may not really reference,
A disability.
what it is that they lived with.
Okay.
So looking at Rainbow Umbrella, there's a book discussion group
There is.
and a women's discussion group.
Yes.
And if you would like more information, you can look on the Facebook page.
Or you can email us here at the studio.
All righty. Out in the 802, we haven't mentioned them for a while, but if it's a Thursday night, there's probably a pop-up happening someplace. Happy hour. So some people still do a happy hour, 5:30 to 7. And on Thursday, August 7th, is going to be at the Lincoln
Where's
on
that?
Rue Canada
Rue Canada.
in Burlington. Remember, you go down the alleyway, knock on the door like the old speakeasy. Okay, big promotion coming right up Saturday, August 2nd, from 10 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon, Vermont Queer Craft Fair. And it is at Millstone Hill, which is at 59 Little John Road in Websterville. Set your GPS. They're saying that they already have over 80 vendors set up for the day. And do you have a story that you might like to share? Because
We're going to be there.
there may be a remote camera on site. Come up to our table, have a seat, tell us your story.
That's right.
So,
We'll be waiting for you.
and they've also put out that the winter event is going to be on December 6th at the Labor Hall, so get that on your calendar now. Queer Reads, and again, this is Disability Pride Month, July 27th at the Pride Center from 1:30 to 2:30. They are going to be discussing Disability Intimacy, which was edited by Alice Wong. And if you're interested in book discussion in the Queer Reads, it's the last Sunday of each month.
Okay.
And they've moved it from the Fletcher Library to the Pride Center.
Okay.
Queer Connect in Bennington. We haven't mentioned them in a while. They're still doing Sapphic Story Hour. And somebody we know might have participated. And they're doing it twice a month. The first Thursday of each month is a reader and writer roundtable. You come, you've got something you're working on, you read it to the group, you get feedback, you discuss it.
We're thinking, as you know, of starting a moth hour kind of venue at Foxy's Market in Barrie in the fall. So
Okay, but
stay tuned.
that's still a work in progress, but if somebody's interested, reach out to the All Things or the Rainbow Umbrella.
Right, if they want to
Facebook.
volunteer or if they want to read or any of that.
All right. And then on the fourth Thursday of each month, an author, such as you did, will come and share their work. This is all done on Zoom. And their current promotion is you don't even have to be in Vermont to participate. If you've got an interest, go on to the Queer Connect website, and there is a link where you can say, yes, I want to participate. This is how to contact me. And again, Rutland County Pride Center, they are doing all kinds of phenomenal events, sponsoring groups. On Fridays, they do the Queer Workspace. And one of the things that I had missed, and I saw it when I went on queervermont.org, O-R-G, because they're trying to put together a statewide calendar. You know, who's doing what? Every Saturday from 8 until 10 at Standing Stone Wines in Winooski, karaoke with the Goddess. So join Goddess for Queeroke at Lil's at Standing Stone in Winooski, a free event.
You know, that's really a good idea because since we've lost like magazines and
We don't have any space.
newspapers, it's really hard to know, you know, because people you call in or say, you know, put this on, we're doing this, you know, and so it's really hard. And if there was a state calendar, it'd be fabulous because,
Well,
you know.
queervermont.org, that was one of the outgrowths of the Pride Day Summit that we did the interview about. And it's like, wait a minute, we've got all these events. How can we collaborate and not compete?
Right,
And this is one of the things that came out of it.
good.
Sunday, August 10th from 1 to 4, a queer pirate picnic. And this is happening.
Do I have to dress up as a pirate?
Well, the invitation
can?
is you can if you want to. You know, it's on the shores of the Connecticut River, Bellows Falls Riverside Park, 20 Mill Street in Bellows Falls. Dress up as much or as little as you want. Just bring yourself, friends, a picnic baskets, and food for yourself, or more if you'd like to share, or go to one of the cafes in town. Pick up a lunch to go.
I should have kept my iPads from when I had cataract surgery.
We can get you another one.
Yeah.
But also on Sunday, August 10th, it might be Pride Day in Montreal. And there might be a group being formed by the Queer Caucus of the Vermont Democratic Party, being organized by Mike Pichek and
Yeah, to
Tom
go up there?
Runner, getting a group. No, they've already got a spot in the parade
All right.
for Vermont queers to march in support of Canada. So, and get it on your calendar now, because my guess is this is going to sell out. Pride Ball on Friday, September 5th from 8 to 11 p.m. Step right up, Queerdo darlings. Welcome to Pride Ball 2025 Freak Show. The glitter-drenched, gender-bending, jaw-dropping queer circus like no other, hosted and produced by Vermont's own Emoji Nightmare.
Nice.
And there may actually be an interview coming up in the near future with Emoji where they can talk about this ain't your average circus. We're talking about a deliciously deviant spectacle featuring drag daredevils, burlesque beauties, sideshow stunners, clown chaos, mind-bending illusions, and dance performances that defy gravity
And where
and
is this
gender
taking
norms.
place?
It's going to be in Burlington, 1214 Williston Road, South Burlington. And I'll have to check to see exactly what that venue is. That may be higher ground.
Could be, yeah.
So, and it says, dust off your sequins, unleash your inner oddity, and come be the freak you were born to be. The tent is open, the spotlight's on you. So with that,
Hey, oh, and the book group that meets in Plainfield,
yes.
first Sunday of every month, coming right up. It's a different kind of book group. You just bring books that you've read, that you want to discuss and talk about and learn, and other people do the same. So, and I think it's at noon, but I think it's noon.
Cutler Memorial Library, you could go onto their website and there should be information.
Yeah.
All righty.
Okay.
Are you going to depress me now?
Yeah. I don't think there's many good stories in here, but
I didn't have a
there's
whole lot
not much, and Congress, because of Epstein, have decided that rather than get a vote on this right now, they'll rather delay it and hope it falls out of everybody's mind. So they're all going on vacation till September. Can you believe it?
Their August break.
I know.
Mike is
But
going.
now they're going 2 weeks early.
The speaker is going to adjourn so that there cannot be a vote, and there we
All
are.
right.
All right.
I wish I had their money, healthcare and daycare center and all that, and still have all this time off.
Their retirement pension.
Yeah. Okay, on another note. A transgender woman has sued Princeton University, claiming she was illegally removed shortly before her race in a school-hosted track meet in May due to her gender identity. A transgender woman has sued Princeton again in May. Oh, I got this twice here. Okay, sorry. So she sued. We'll keep you posted about what happens with that. Derek Hoffman, a 46-year-old construction welder, moved his 42-year-old wife and 3 kids, ages 12, 11, and 10, from the United States to Russia to avoid LGBTQ people.
I saw that.
Indoctrination. You know how we do that.
Mm-hmm.
But now he has been placed on the front lines of Russia's bloody, years-long onslaught of Ukraine. So they sent him to the front lines, despite the fact that the government promised that this would not happen. When he signed up and had all of that done, he was told not to be training for 2 weeks and going straight to the front lines. His wife, Deanna, said in a now deleted YouTube video, according to the Daily Beast, but it seems as though he is getting 1 more week of training closer to the front lines, and then they are going to put him on the front lines. So that, you go to Russia to escape, because you're homophobic, look what happens to you.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 42, too. I mean, usually that's about the age that one would.
But Putin was hiring mercenaries from other country because he didn't have enough Russian soldiers to fight
They all
in
left.
Ukraine.
All the men left.
So age, I think, is probably making little difference these days.
And there were North Koreans fighting there, too.
Well, that was some of the mercenaries.
Yeah. Columbia, Ohio City Council took the next steps last week to approve the creation of a new LGBT plus Affairs Commission, introduced by Council President Shannon Hardin. The legislature passed 9-0 on July 14th to establish an advisory commission representing the citizens, gay and lesbian and bisexual, transgender, and queer community. The commission will be made of up to 13 members, serving staggered 3-year terms, with 6 appointed by council, 6 by the mayor, and 1 chosen jointly. So that's a good story out of Columbus. And we all know Andy Hernandez Romero, a gay makeup artist.
You stole my story.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to do that?
No, you
Okay.
do it and I'll just make a comment.
Did we say that you would do that? Because I don't remember. But
South America.
It's, oh, okay, yeah. It's been a
Moving on.
interesting week.
Moving on.
U.S. due to the persecution in Venezuela, but was deported to a prison in El Salvador.
Right,
Has been released as part of a prisoner swap.
right.
But he's being sent back to Venezuela instead of the U.S. under a prisoner swap facilitated by Trump administration. 10 U.S. citizens who had been held in Venezuela were released, and more than 250 Venezuelan men
Yep.
in the U.S. had sent them back to be imprisoned in El Salvador without due process. Romero entered the U.S. legally in 2024, fleeing anti-LGBTQ violence and political persecution. After passing a credible fear interview, he was deported after showing up for an appointment
Right.
the U.S. government gave him. The Trump administration invoked the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, previously used to incarcerate Japanese Americans as Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Previously used to incarcerate Japanese, World War II. Officials accused him of gang ties based on his tattoos above the names of his parents, though his attorneys say that he has no criminal record at all. So,
And part of what I was looking at was he was doing everything the way he was supposed to.
mm-hmm.
There was no real substantiation for any direct gang involvement,
He was
even
going to
though
court.
here's this tattoo that was very ambiguous to begin with. But here was my question was, his family and his attorneys didn't realize he was part of the prisoner swap until they saw him disembarking from the plane. They have had no contact with him since he disembarked into Venezuela. Where is he? Is he free? Is he incarcerated? He came here seeking basically political asylum because of persecution,
Right.
because of sexual orientation in Venezuela.
And he was given entrance.
And here it is, I'm putting you back in the same environment. What is there to protect you?
So nobody knows where he is.
No, I mean, and that was my real question is,
Yeah.
you know, he was released from El Salvador and this horrendous prison, but we still don't know where he is or what's happening to
He
him.
could be an alligator, Alcatraz.
Yeah.
All you need is one. Never mind. Okay, Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, has just canceled $18.5 million in grants to LGBTQ plus programs and those promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion. No more to say about her.
I've got more following up on the federal
Okay.
cuts and the impact on particularly on our youth.
San Francisco leaders rejected a push by transgender activists to stop a private prison takeover of the historic Compton cafeteria, where a riot took place in 1966. When the Taylor Street land served as home to Gene Compton's cafeteria, it became a site of riot by transgender individuals and drag queens in protest of police harassment. After police arrested a drag queen for hurling coffee in the face of an officer, an uprising broke out in protest of years of unfair enforcement of city cross-dressing ordinances. The riot preceded the Stonewall riot in New York by almost 3 years.
Right.
So,
That's been a trivia question on several shows.
well, they're taking it down, I think.
Yeah.
To build what? To build housing. Now there is an annual gay robot roaming the streets of West Hollywood. Here's a picture of that cute little robot. and dishing out compliments to strangers using Gen Z slang. The 4-foot-tall bipedal robot roaming LA is officially named Jake the Rizbot. The A1, or artificial intelligence, AI, powered robot was made by a Chinese tech company, Unitree Robotics. Weighs 77 pounds, can walk and jog, and costs $16,000. So here's the picture. Shoot, shoot, shoot. So, to read Tennessee code, whose ban on trans kids' medical care was just argued in the Supreme Court's United States versus Scarametti. You're immediately struck by the fact that it means sex no less than 10 times. This includes minor sex, referred 6 times, and even minor sex organs twice. Despite this, the 6 far-right Christians on the Supreme Court have ruled that SB 1 does not discriminate on the basis of sex. To make it even plainer, Tennessee asserts the state's compelling interest in encouraging minors to appreciate their sex and discourages anything that might make them become disdainful of their sex.
Tennessee.
They're going to help you out, Tennessee.
Tennessee. Okay, yeah, all right.
They're going to help you out, guys.
Okay.
All right, and a new park has opened in Boston named Rita Hester, a transgender woman who was murdered near this area in 1998. The Rita Hester Green opened on June 30th to mark the end of Pride Month, according to an announcement from landscape architect firm Copley Wolf, which calls itself a joyful, inclusive space made for connection and year-round fun, featuring a dog park, flexible event lawn, quiet corners, and playful natural buffers. The park is located between Brighton and Alston Street, where Hester used to live. Hester was stabbed more than 20 times on her way home from the Silhouette Lounge, a local cocktail bar, which was less than a 5-minute walk from her first-floor apartment on 21 Park Ave. She was taken to Beth Israel Hospital but died from her wounds shortly after. She was 34. Her case remains unsolved to this day. And here's a picture of her. So, what do you got?
Well, we're going to start with our elders. Like maybe a Vermont grandpa,
Oh, I love this
affectionately known as the angry gay grandpa, James Lance. He's a freelance filmmaker from Burlington. He was just in a court in Pennsylvania where he was the plea bargained and was fined $16,000 for damages that he might have done at the Pennsylvania State House
With that glue?
when he glued his hand to a railing. He has been following suicides of transgender youth. And what he said was when he first started researching transgender and non-binary youth suicides because of bills such as the one introduced by a Republican senator in Pennsylvania, he got outraged. And he heard about 6 suicides that happened in Lancaster County in Pennsylvania. And he went to confront this state senator. And from the reports, he tried on 6 different occasions to engage the state senator. The state senator would not meet with him. So finally, he went in, he disrupted the Senate goings-on, and glued himself so he couldn't be removed. The $16,000 was for $11,000 to replace carpet that he had damaged, $4,000 to remove the glue, and $1,500 to repair the wood trim. And
Okay.
and apparently our angry great grandpa has not only a queer son, he has friends with transgendered youth. He's like, why are we not paying attention to this? Why are we allowing this to continue? And he decided, I'm going to do something.
Well, he brought attention.
So there we are. Danville, Vermont, quaint little community between here and St. Johnsbury.
Yeah.
Stephen Cobb, who runs the Danville Restaurant and Inn, went out and sort of looked up and said, something doesn't look right here. Somebody had stolen the Black Lives Matter flag and the Pride and Inclusion flag that hung on the front of the building. And he said, I put these, there's a whole variety of flags that are displayed. Those were the 3 that were taken. The ones that promoted diversity and inclusion. You know, his statement of everyone is welcome here. The restaurant and the inn are in his home. And he says, I've been running this for 40 years. This is the first time this has happened. Yeah, we've got pictures that we will be showing of the front with all of the flags in place.
But they had nothing to show him the person who stole them or took them.
No, I didn't see any report about any, camera that had picked up an image or anything, but it is under active investigation by the St. Johnsbury Barracks of the Vermont State Police, which has jurisdiction. They've already reached out to the Office of Attorney General saying, okay, based upon the flags that were taken, could this be considered a hate crime? And it might be. I mean, because one of the changes, and it's only going to be through litigation that we find this out, one of the changes to our hate crime statute is it doesn't have to be directed towards a specific person. It could be directed toward a community. So how the state's attorney frames the argument might determine if there are additional charges that once they're identified who is, the alleged perpetrator, how that case might proceed. But the community is in support of the inn. Other people around have said this is not what we're used to here. And we're going to put up the contact phone number so that if anyone has any information, this is the officer, Adam Arberg, at the St. Johnsbury Barracks that you should be in touch with.
Okay.
So you were talking about, cuts in LGBTQ funding. This coming Thursday, before this is aired, all of that money that was supporting the 988 teen suicide hotline is going away.
I know.
There will no longer be, you call into the CDC, NIH, and you can press 3 and you're connected to somebody who can talk to you about queer-related issues. Well, the Vermont Department of Mental Health has stepped up and said, they may have been pulling funding. We're going to continue that. If you are a queer youth.
Have a local?
Well, there are 2 local mental health agencies who have stepped into the forefront and said they will be the lead agencies in ensuring that there is a hotline available for our queer youth to call.
Good.
And you can still call 988, but once you get transferred through, there is a Vermont-specific one that will then deal with our queer youth.
Good.
And the other thing that, both on a national level and the conversation with Outright Here, remember the Trevor Project is a private hotline. Even though a bulk of its funding was through federal grants, they're not going away.
Okay.
So we'll make sure that their hotline number gets put up as well. Last week in Massachusetts, They passed a bill very similar to what we did here during our last session, which is reinforcing their healthcare Shield Act, so that it is very clear that Massachusetts is not going to cooperate with out-of-state investigations about reproductive rights and gender-affirming care.
Good.
And they went as far at the same as we did here in Vermont, of ensuring that we put extra protections in place for providers, because if I am, and so that a provider in Vermont could prescribe methylprestone to somebody who lives someplace else, and that other state could not try and access those pharmacy records to get at the provider.
Or to sue the person or arrest the person who sent them.
Bingo.
Right.
So they put it in place. And one of the reasons that it may be very similar is because one of the people responsible for this in Massachusetts providing these important protections might have been, oh my, our friend Polly Crozier from GLAAD. So thank you very much. Massachusetts also, their Attorney General, Andre Joy Campbell, got together a coalition of 13 attorney generals and has filed an amicus brief, Jones versus Bondi, about protecting healthcare and safety of incarcerated transgender people. With the executive order and with our Department of Injustice now, they removed a Bureau of Prisons judgment call about if a transgender person goes to which prison, a male-based or a female-based prison. And Jones is the name of a transgender woman that they wanted to move from the women's prison to the men's prison, and said, wait a minute, you are putting me at risk. And part of this is based upon a 2003 federal law, Prison Rape Elimination Act, which is saying that we are trying to promote or create a zero tolerance of sexual violence within the prison system. So this is currently, filed. We haven't seen what it is that's going to happen yet. But oh my, yes indeed, Charity Clark in Vermont may be one of those 13 states that have signed on to it. So in the last show, I had sort of made a comment about New Hampshire, and we might want to try and jump over it to get to Maine.
Didn't something just maybe you have it on there, but
Well, and the reason I'm bringing it up is that their governor,
they vetoed something or something, right?
she vetoed 3 hostile anti-bills. HB 324, which would have made it easier for parents to challenge and remove any school library materials.
Is she a Republican?
She's a Republican.
Wow.
Yeah, she was endorsed by Sununu.
Wow.
So, and part of this bill is, a school principal would only have 10 days to decide upon a parent's complaint if they felt it violated law and remove it from the shelves. And if the parent didn't like what the principal did, oh my, they could appeal it to the school board or the Board of Education, which is much more detailed than what it is now. And the governor said, we already have bills in place. If a parent disagrees with a curriculum or a specific educational material, they can file a complaint as long as there is an acceptable, approved alternative that is then made available. The other bill was HB 148, which would have allowed businesses and organizations to ban transgender people from using facilities matching their gender identity, even in jails and mental health facilities. And the other is HB 446, a bill that required parents to opt in for their students to participate in any non-academic survey. Now, the reason that Governor Ayotte vetoed this is she was worried that, oh, your parent has to say, yes, you can participate. What about the CDC Youth Risk Behavior Survey, which is anonymous, that gives them all of the information about what the school climate truly is? What are the issues that are being dealt with? She's like, I don't think we're going to need this. And real quickly,
Good for her.
yeah, and real quickly, the bill that just came out of the U.S. Senate, they put back in the $400 million that the current administration had taken out for the global emergency plan for AIDS relief. And this was done primarily because of Susan Collins and Murkowski saying, wait a minute,
We're not
you
doing
know,
this.
that we're not doing this, and citing, you know, the 26 million lives that had been saved and the 8 million babies that were born HIV-free to mothers living with HIV because of this work. But of course, this still it was approved by the House, so that those monies have gone back in, and that initiative is going to be continued.
Everybody, even all the Republicans privately, are saying this bill is horrible.
Yep.
But they didn't do anything.
So I'm going to hand it back to you because
So,
I'm looking
all
at what
right.
we've got left for time.
Look at that. We're moving right along here.
My goodness, and we didn't think we were going to have enough.
I know. Andrea Gibson, and here's a picture of them. A queer spoken word poet known for powerful pieces about identity, life, and love has passed away. The 49-year-old poet passed away on July 14th in her home, surrounded by their wife, Meg, 4 ex-girlfriends, their mother and father, dozens of friends, and their 3 beloved dogs. Gibson was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in 2021. Since learning they had cancer, they have been a champion of finding beauty in unlikely places and gratitude in the hardest of times. Over the last 4 years, they danced with their diagnosis and continually aimed their internal compass towards joy. One of the last things Andrea said on this was, "I fucking loved my life," the Facebook page says. And, you know, she was, they were very, very young, so 42. She was also, they were also Poet Laureate of Colorado. So, Donald Trump's Department of Education is drafting plans to gut a student loan forgiveness program. So, you know, if you volunteered to like work on a Native American reservation or blah, 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 your student loans could be deferred. Although that has been getting difficult, besides these issues, for many people for a while. And employees of LGBT plus groups are being singled out. Trump signed an executive order in March dismantling access to public loan forgiveness programs, directly pointing to nonprofits that serve transgender people as ineligible for loan forgiveness. Now the Department of Education has unveiled that they will follow through with the order that cuts expected to disappropriately impact LGBTQ people who are more likely to have student loans and more likely to work for nonprofits.
Exactly.
So, protesters greet churchgoers at Indiana church days after preachers called from the altar for the execution of sodomites. A non-binary special education teacher in Arizona has settled a lawsuit against their school district after two board members reportedly accused them of grooming children and released their address on social media. Riva Chuninu reached an undisclosed settlement with the Peoria Unified School District over a year after filing a gender discrimination suit in response to targeted harassment from Governing Board President Heather Rocks and former Governing Board member Rebecca Hill. The two attempted to terminate his employment. According to the lawsuit, the Arizona Republic says, and led a public smear campaign that resulted in multiple attacks on the teacher's vehicle and home.
Sodomite? When was the last time we heard that?
I know. When I went to, wait a minute, where did Lot live? Anyway, you know his wife.
Sodom and Gomorrah, yeah.
Okay, never mind.
We digress.
I know. Lavoina Moore devoted 15 years of cultivating a library in rural Georgia where every person felt seen. Yet in a matter of hours in June, the librarian's career was upended by political outrage and quiet maneuvers among city officials after she included a book with a transgender character in the public display, government records show. So she had one book that, anyway. Hey, what do you think of Harvard? Ugh. They seemingly have caved to Trump's administration's demand to end all diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives by removing the websites for its LGBTQ plus and women's centers. So, Harvard, stand up, come on. James Gunn's new Superman movie is just around the corner, and it's already igniting debate across the internet about superheroes and what they represent. Starring David Corenswet as the titular Man of Steel, Superman tells the story of an alien from the planet Krypton who landed on Earth as a baby and now possesses incredible powers. It seems a little simple, perhaps, yet the film is making headlines after writer-director Gunn pointed out something obvious. Superman is an immigrant.
Yeah. An undocumented.
Yes.
Oh. Ooh.
And just was dropped here from the sky. Singer Ethel Cain posted an Instagram story Wednesday apologizing for resurfaced racist social media posts she made at 19. The singer, whose real name is Hayden Anhedonia, has been confronted by Reddit users who unearthed and reposted those controversial posts from Tumblr and other platforms where they have screenshots and question and answer platforms called Curious Cat, where Cain admits to using the N-word and states, "Build the wall," in response to the post mocking Latinx people. There were also screenshots of Kay wearing a t-shirt that said, "Legalize incest," along with instances of the singer making fat slamming and rape jokes. The performer also said that people who use they pronouns are attention seekers. She has apologized for these remarks.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I won't be listening to her, probably. All right. Jewel Tay Williams, owner of the legendary Los Angeles black queer disco Jules Catch One, and an activist for HIV treatment and other causes, has died at age 86. Thais Williams, a lesbian, opened Jules Catch One in the 70s, because she saw that black LGBTQ people in LA needed a space of their own. She had previously run a mixed club where gay and straight blacks and whites partied together. It was a kind of a miracle, really, she said. That's sad. And then a policy shift dismantles a 2015 memo written, ironically, by President Donald Trump. Now borders are Tom Homan that detailed how trans people were to be treated in ICE custody. It also puts ICE facilities in danger of violating a constitutional mandate that requires ICE to track the number and conditions of transgender detainees. It further means that under the new rules, transgender immigrants are being classified strictly for their sex assigned at birth, often housed in facilities that denigrate their identities and denied basic accommodation they previously were entitled to. And my one international story.
I've got a couple.
Oh, good. Well, this is the only one I have. And I'll go on to yours, but Berlin. You may
Yes.
have this. You have this one?
No.
All
Remember,
right.
I was South America
Right.
and Canada.
Okay. Extreme right-wing groups in Germany are increasingly targeting LGBTQ people as part of a systematic effort to gain popularity and win new recruits. Right-wing extremists have mobilized against pride events scheduled for this summer, planning counter-demonstrations that purport to celebrate transitional heterosexual relationships. In a message, experts say that is drawing a growing number of young Germans. I'm surprised. Well, in the extreme right. In the eastern German town of Bautzen, organizers of local pride parades set to take place in August are preparing for a large counter demonstration of right-wing extremists, many of them teenagers. Man and woman, the true foundation of life, reads an online post. There you go.
So I'm going to start by saying this is a recommendation from the ACLU. If you are someone who identifies as transgender or non-binary or intersex, now is the time for you to go and renew your passport, because the executive order that there are only two sexes, we're not going to allow a gender X or a change on markers on those documents. There is a stay in place. They're not sure how much longer that stay is going to be in effect.
How long do passports last? I just
10
got mine
years.
back. 10? Okay.
Yeah. And one of the things to keep in mind is that there are some countries that in order to get your visa to get into the country, your passport has to be not within the last 6 months of its longevity.
Right.
So we say it's good for this long, but realistically it's like
9.5 years.
bingo.
Yeah.
So now, speaking of overstaying your welcome, there is a case in Canada, Angela Jenkel, who identifies as non-binary. She's American. They are American. They're being deported
From Canada?
from Canada back to the U.S. Really? That happens? Apparently, they went to help take care of their fiance in Canada. In 2022, your non-citizen visiting visa is only good for 6 months.
Right.
I think they
Then you have to come back for 3 months and then you can go back again.
Apparently, because of dealing with the healthcare issues with the fiance, they kind of sort of forgot when the 6 months ended. So immigration in Canada said, we're deporting you. And they appealed it. And what the judge said in this case is that what immigration had not taken into consideration for the deportation order is the hostile environment in the U.S. against transgender and non-binary, so they put a stay on this.
Wow.
So they are not being deported because we are not a safe place for them to return.
Who would have thought it, huh? I know.
I mean, it was one of those that when I'm reading it, it's like, what? The other thing in Canada,
Maybe I'll do that.
in political asylum,
Yeah.
Alberta put a new school library standards policy in place. What books could be on the shelf, the protocol for removing them. Well, there was one of the freedom of expression groups that said, wait a minute, there's something about this that doesn't look quite right. This is incredibly conservative. This is not who we are.
Where is this?
We're in Alberta, Canada. It's the province.
Yeah.
Looking at how did you create this policy and how did you come up with this list of things that you think might be suspect? Well, it turns out that their Ministry of Education and Child Care relied upon a site called, on banned books and entries on a site called booklooks.org. And one of the problems with that is booklooks.org may have been founded by Moms for Liberty. So the whole thing is now under appeal, and Alberta is going back to the drawing board. Canada is also facing a new lawsuit from a gay man, Michael Fazel, because they will not let him be an organ donor because he's had sex with another man.
You're kidding.
Canada was one of the first places that removed the ban on men who have sex with men as long as you met the donation requirements.
Right.
However, the organ donations seem to have not kept pace. So he's filed suit saying, you know, this isn't right, and I really want to be an organ donor. And apparently the only exception to this ban is if it is an emergency situation, there is no other organ available, and the person who is receiving it signs off on what they cite might be the risk as being the recipient. The UN, they're trying to look out for us.
The UN?
Because there was a draft report that was compiled by a UN official, and we wonder who they have connections with, that falsely correlates the existence of transgender people as the erasure of the legal category of women, spouting dangerous misinformation about gender dysphoria and transgender health care. Additionally, this report scapegoats transgender people, ignoring the role patriarchal structures play in the violence against women and girls. This report was supposed to be, how do we respond to the issue of violence against women and girls? And they were trying to scapegoat the transgender community as, oh, they're the ones that are erasing women's identity and creating this problem. And they also went through and stated and there are people for whom they regret their decisions. So that report is going nowhere. And just very quickly, there has been a bill introduced into the U.S. Senate by Edward Markey of Massachusetts.
God, he's been around a long time.
And he's still there. Banning a panic defense.
He made a move on me. I killed him.
Bingo. On a federal level. And I might be citing it in particular because one of the co-sponsors might be Bernie Sanders.
Oh.
So,
Ed Markey was there when I lived there, I think.
and they're still going strong. July, Disability Pride Month. Renowned queer artist, inventor, architect, and theorist. Maybe best known for their work La Gioconda. And the giveaway might be if the translation was to, the Mona Lisa.
Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa.
Leonardo da Vinci, who, when you go through
Yeah,
the
what was
bio,
the disability?
he had epilepsy.
Really?
If I knew it, I had forgotten
I
it.
never knew
It wasn't
it.
prominent.
No.
But I want to say both he and Michelangelo and Julius Caesar
Had
were all documented as having a seizure disorder.
Is that what they called it back then? I
No,
thought they would have called it the devil or something. You know?
Possession.
Yeah.
So with that,
I always have to say, remember each week that it gets worse.
yes.
Put a smile on your face. Get out there and stand in front of ice. Pull those masks off and resist.